Hello, everyone. This is Jeff Kirby, the Philly Mummer costumer with JMK Costuming and Show Design. I've had some people ask me, how come you're not talking about the string bands? Well, one, they haven't had their competition yet. That big mess with the string band division right now. A lot of discussion around the string band division right now, right? I have mentioned last year's parade, I believe, was a total mess. I still think that two bands, and it's not too late, association, two bands were unfairly disqualified last year. And I think the lineup that they have this year, you've got to understand the pod system that they have. This pod system was designed, it benefits two bands only. But we're going to talk about this. And what I'm getting at is a lot of changes are needed within the string band division. I was in the string band division for over 25 years, going back to the days I was a marshal, carrying props. There have been a lot of changes along the way. And we're seeing things kind of sizzle out. Mum fans, that's what we're seeing. Bands drop off. We're seeing memberships drop off. And that's the hard fact right now. Changes are needed to boost such a great hobby and tradition. The blaming needs to stop. Responsibility needs to come into play, and until that happens, it's going to be the same thing year after year. Unfortunately, we're going to see bands continue to drop off, memberships continue to drop off. But if you want to talk string bands, we're here as mum fans, not as mummers, but as mum fans to discuss things. Now, I had mentioned I worked in advertising. I went to one of the best advertising schools there is, so the brain goes, and I've had marketing plans laid out for years, but nobody wants to listen to them. But we'll talk about them because we can, and I encourage discussion. Please comment your thoughts, your ideas. Maybe somebody will see something and they'll say, "Hey, maybe that's a good idea." Let's put this into light. I don't know if there's any NASCAR fans out there. I got into NASCAR a few years ago, big time. If you've ever been to a race, it will change your life. I'm telling you, in person. NASCAR has been avoiding its fan base for the last 15 years or so, and they've done what they want to do. Okay, when it comes to marketing, you've got to look at your audience, right? You've got to look at the feedback and say, hey, we have to tweak this. To keep the fan base happy. NASCAR just made some huge announcements 2 days ago. The fan base is now stirred up. They are going crazy. They are happy. Things are going back to the way they were. Imagine that. And I think this is going to be one of the most exciting NASCAR seasons that they've had in a long time, and people are hyped. I think ticket sales are going to be going through the roof. Yes, very, very exciting. Other businesses or hobbies should pay attention to these things. We see the comments on Facebook and Instagram, and all these comments are ignored, and a lot of them have been responded to in very unfair ways by people within the string band organizations. It's not right. But let's talk some marketing, right? Let's look at the way that the string bands are scored. So right now, and for a while now, they've been judged at a professional level. There's a serious critique that they undergo on New Year's Day or whenever they have their competition. And you've got to hit these checkpoints. And if you don't know how to hit the checkpoints, which I'm going to be honest, there's only a few clubs who, even after all these years, who are hitting these checkpoints, you're not gonna fare well with the scoring. I find that to be well. I love it as a creative. I love it. I understand the criteria. I know how to write for the criteria, and when I do write, the shows succeed. A lot of these clubs, they're looking at the winners, and it's a copy paste, copy paste, copy paste. And I've talked about this sitting in on theme committee meetings where these theme committees are just discussing what the winning bands are doing and how they can do the same thing for their upcoming shows. I can't do that. What I want to do when I write a show is I want to be completely different. I want to bring new things to the street, and I want to compete. I want to stand out. I want to do things that are so detailed and intricate that the judges, they have to score you well because it's just so unique. I take pride in that as a creative. I don't want to do what other string bands have already done. But that's the process right now. Let's take it back to a NASCAR analogy. Like a track like Talladega, they drive in packs all around the track, and nobody moves, right? They're all speeding around at 200 miles an hour, but the places stay the same. The creative talents are not really being shown yet. They're just showing that they're in their place and they can stay in that place. And that's what we've seen year to year. And this pod system, it's designed to be that way. I have not liked it since the beginning. I think it's unfair. It's an amateur event. How do we break out of that and make this event more fun for the fans, more fun for the clubs, and will help grow memberships again and fill these memberships out again so that we're seeing more members in each club and we're seeing more competition. My suggestion has been take the judging criteria, crumple it up, throw it out the window. Get 10 judges, and you judge it like a talent show. This is an amateur event, okay? The way it's judged right now, it's got to be a full-time job. This is why they're losing people. Make it fun again. Make it more like a talent show of amateurs. 10 judges. Each judge scores each club a 1 to 10. That gives each club the possibility for 100 points, just like it is now. But it's more based on how much did I like you? How enjoyable were you? How entertaining were you? How did you move me? Did you make me laugh? Did you make me smile? You're not trying to hit criteria points anymore. What will this do? The last 10, 15, 20 years, I'm going to say 20 years, the identities of clubs has disappeared. Why? Because it's the cookie cutter mentality. We have to do what this band did. We have to do what this band did. I was in a band with a drill director a while back, super creative. He has a way to connect with the public. The thing is his style does not match the judging criteria, and I think that's wrong. I think talent and entertainment should rank supreme. If it were judged this way, I'm gonna flat out honesty. I think Uptown String Band wins the 2025 parade last year, and I don't think there's any questions asked about it. They put on a great show. It was entertaining. Do they have the power of the bigger bands when they play? No, but were they just as fun to watch? Absolutely. And I think that's a good thing. I think if this judge, and listen, we've got a lot to talk about with marketing that would turn this parade around just like that. Thing is, nobody wants to listen. But step one, get rid of the pod system, the pod judging system, which pretty much keeps, I'm saying pretty much because Uptown, they moved up, and they deserve to. But again, I'm going to go back to that NASCAR analogy. It's at a point where with this pod system, you're kind of relying on other bands to get worse than you getting better. And I hope that makes sense as you're listening to this. We dump the criteria completely. 10 judges. Each judge gets a 1 to 10 score per club. How much did I like you? 8.5. You weren't that good. I'm giving you a 4, right? Or a 3, whatever. adds up to 100 points still. Look, the better bands are still going to be at the top, but what this does is this now, instead of 2 bands competing for first place every year, and it is every single year, you're now going to have, 8? Probably 8 bands competing for a first prize every year. 8 bands, maybe 9 bands, can wake up every New Year's morning and say, holy cow, we've got a shot. What else does that do? That drives excitement during the year. That's going to bring more members around for rehearsals all year. They have a shot, right? That's going to make each club better. Why? They have a shot. They're more into it. They're not going in January 2nd saying, well, I hope we get 6th prize because that's like a first prize for our pod, right? And that's what it is right now. I think blatant. The only word I can think of, I think it's disgusting. I hate it. Yeah, I think by just making it an amateur event again, straight up, I like you 1 to 10, points to 100. And points need to be displayed immediately, okay? Immediately, just like the figure skating at the Olympics. Post the points immediately. I've got a lot more to talk about when it comes to string bands. I've got a full marketing plan I've had for a decade now. But again, like I said, nobody wants to listen to it. Everybody wants to do things their way. It's fine. But now we're starting to see the consequences of I'm going to use the word that all the fans are putting on social media right now: greed. Okay. Hopefully, the Stringman Association starts to learn from NASCAR. Who would have thought we'd have to turn to NASCAR for a prime example of how things are supposed to work, how things are supposed to be. But it's up to the string bands, okay? They've got to vote, and they've got to make the changes themselves. But that's what I have to say about the string bands. I'll talk more about the string bands and the marketing as far as location. I've been saying the location has needed to change for 8-10 years now. It's like a good business. If Apple had kept the iPhone 1 around forever, right, they wouldn't be selling iPhone 1s anymore. Every year they're putting out a new updated version. I remember in college I had a professor who he would say all the time, you have to let go of this hand and grab onto this hand as the time changes. As much as you want to hold on to certain things, you've got to have the smarts. Even if you don't like it, you've got to do the right thing to make things better for the bigger picture. And the string bands really, really need to do that right now. Just one more quick analogy. In high school football, we had a coach. I'll never forget this because we had a defensive end who he kept, as a defensive end, your job is to contain, right, the quarterback, the running back to the inside. You don't want to let them get to the sidelines. We had a tight end a defensive end who kept trying to run straight up the field, and we were getting around him every time. And the coach, he blows the whistle, and he says, "Everybody here," and we come around, and he grabs one of the players, and he just keeps running himself into him, right? And we're all looking at him, we're like, "What is going on here?" He said, "Look, I can't break through a wall. I can't walk through a wall. You can't walk through the wall by doing the same thing, right? If you want to get bigger, you want to get popular again, like the string bands used to be, you got to start swerving here. String bands, you have to start swerving. And until you start making those moves, unfortunately, we're going to keep seeing the same thing. So let's call this episode 1 of String Band Marketing. Drop the judging criteria, make it a talent show. Make it an amateur event like it is. Make it a hobby again, not a full-time job. 10 judges, 1 to 10 per judge, per club, adding up to 100 points, and post those scores immediately. No more of this putting papers in envelopes, going off to another group of people, and then numbers coming out. Post the scores immediately. String bands, let's make this stuff fun again. Let's make it good for everyone again. I swear to you, if you start making the right changes, you are going to see people come back. you are going to see more people come in. Okay? And you're going to see more people come out to the parade to watch it. So anyway, episode 1, String Band Marketing. We'll be back with more. Everybody have a great day. Thanks for following along, and we will see you on the next one. Take care. Bye.